Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. So today we are going to solve the lab KCET of second year 7th chapter, that is human health and disease. So let's start. So in today's session we are going to cover in this topic first one, infectious and non-infectious disease, and then second one, pathogens, typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, and then third one, malarial stages in the life cycle of plasmodium, and then ascariasis, elephantiasis, ringworm disease, and then immunity, innate immunity, and about the acquired immunity we are going to discuss here. And in that topic only, we are going to discuss about the structure of antibody molecule, and we also discussing active and passive immunity, and then vaccination and immunization, allergies and autoimmunity topics, and then drugs and alcohol abuse. Okay, so these all are the topics we are going to cover in this health and disease chapter of the second year. So let's uh, start with the first question. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 1. Which component of innate immunity directly destroy the cell wall of bacteria? So dear student, here first you need to understand what is meaning of innate immunity. Okay, I think now you have studied already, right, about all these chapters you have already studied. I think I know you know the meaning of innate immunity. What do you mean by innate immunity? So innate immunity is the nothing but immunity present at the time of birth itself. Okay, so this immunity present at the time of birth, that is called what? Innate immunity. Okay, so here what they are asking is here, which component of innate immunity directly destroys the cell wall of bacteria? So as you know that under innate immunity there are four barriers, that is what? A physical barrier, physiological barrier, and third one cellular, and then cytokines. Okay, so these are four barriers. Through these barriers, innate immunity is accomplished. Okay, so here they are asking which is going to destroy the cell wall of bacteria. So here innate immunity is okay. So the lysosome. Okay, so this is actually okay. That is a part of innate immunity that is going to destroy the cell wall of bacteria. Okay, so the cell wall of bacteria is made up of peptidoglycan. So that will be destroyed by this lysozyme, okay, of the innate immunity. So the correct answer is here, dear student, not interferons, even not a histamine, not a prostaglandin. Correct answer is lysozyme. It is a part of innate immunity or component of innate immunity, so that is going to destroy the layer cell wall of a bacteria. So the correct answer is here, dear student. Option A, that is lysozyme, is the correct option. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question second. The Vidal test is performed for the diagnosis of. Okay. So here it is a specific test. Okay. So that is used to find out the disease. Okay. So we need to find out which disease it is. So already in your NCRT that is given. So the Vidal test, that is not for malaria, even not for amoebiasis, even not for ascariasis. Okay. So it is used to diagnosis of the fever that is called typhoid. Okay. So the correct answer, the Vidal test is for what? Typhoid. Okay. So it is a specific diagnosis test for a what? Typhoid. So the correct answer is here, dear student, option C, that is what? Typhoid. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question third. Bluish coloration of lips, that is called cyanosis, is characteristically seen in. Okay. So dear students, so here it is one of the characteristic feature of the disease. Okay. So here whatever you are observing, that is the bluish color of the lips. So that condition is also called as cyanosis. Okay. So this is because, see, in this case, this is because the lack of oxygen. Due to the lack of oxygen, what happens? Lack of oxygen in the alveolar sac. Okay. So cyanosis is happening. Okay. That is nothing but the bluish coloration of lips. Why here lack of oxygen is taking place? Because in case of pneumonia, what happens? It is causing infection the lungs. Okay. And due to the infection, it is causing what? Damage the alveolar sac. Alveolar sac becomes fluid filled. Fluid filled, or it is attacked by the pus. Okay. So that is what the it is causing directly infection the alveolar sac of the lungs. So due to that there will be a lack of oxygen, and that causes the cyanosis. Okay. So the correct answer is, in case of pneumonia, this is the characteristic what feature we can observe. Okay. So the correct answer is here, dear student, option B, that is pneumonia. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 4. The pathogen responsible for ringworm infection belongs to. So, dear student, so the image is visible, right? So, in this image, if you observe properly, okay, so you can see that here a ring-like structure. Yes, so ring-like structure you can easily observe here, and whatever the red rashes, okay, and here if you observe the hyphae like structure, okay, so all these are what the symptoms of fungi. Okay, all these are symptoms of fungi, and it also causes itching. Okay, so these all are what the symptoms of the infection caused by the fungi. Okay, so they're not a bacteria, even not a virus. Okay, and even not a protozoa. Here it is ringworm disease that is caused by the fungus. So the correct answer is here option D, that is what fungi. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 5. The infective stage of Plasmodium that enters human during mosquito bite is. So dear students, so this is in case of Plasmodium vivox, that is the pathogen, okay, causing the disease called the Plasmodium vivax, causing the disease called the malaria, right? So here the plasmodia is also called as diagenic because here it needs host to host complete its life cycle. That means here it needs one mosquito, a female anopheles mosquito, and a human. Okay, so these two, with the help of these two what host, it completes its life cycle. So in the image itself, you can observe that here it is the mosquito, here it is the human. Okay, so here the mosquito when bites to the human, okay, the gametes will be transferred inside the mosquito body, and that gametes will fuse to form the zygote, and that zygote is going to develop into the oocyte. Okay, and that oocyte are going to release the sporozoite. So this is the exact stage where the mosquito is going to infect the human. Okay, so when it infect the human, when it bites the human, that sporozoites are infected to the liver cells, and inside the liver cells it becomes multiplied and it becomes the merozoites. Okay, and this merozoites are going to affect our RBC cells. Okay, and after that our RBC cells are going to release the hemogen. Okay, and that is a very toxic substance. So because of that substance, the recurring fever will be there, chilled fever will be there, headache will be there, because of this release of toxic substance from the red blood cells. And after that again it is become going to it is releasing the gametocytes in the bloodstream. Okay, and then again when mosquito bites, it transmits to the another mosquito. Okay, so this is what the life cycle, okay, in case of mosquito and human, the plasmodium of plasmodium viva. So in which stage it is affecting the human? So here it is entering the human during the sporozoid stage. Okay. So the correct answer is here option C, that is during the sporozoid stage it is entering the human. Okay. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 6. A healthy individual is best defined as a person with. So dear student, here we have attached image, right? Just observe the image. What do you mean by healthy? If I am healthy, I should be physical fit, right? I should be mentally also fit. I should be mentally fine. And then I should be strong socially also. I should have a very well communication with the society. Okay. And then I should be strong emotionally, even I should be spiritual and even environmental also. Okay. So this is what we considered as a total well-being of an human being. Okay. So that is considered as a healthy person. Okay. If a person is fitted in all these aspects, then only the person can be considered as an healthy human being. Okay. So here the correct answer, which option is suitable here? Proper nutrition only? No. And not absence of disease only? That is also not correct. If there is a absence of disease, but if he is not uh, what? Socially not connected, that is also not considered as what? A healthy. Okay. And then high immunity levels only, so that is also not correct. Here it is a complete physical, mental and social well-being of an human being, then only we can consider he is a healthy. Okay. So the correct answer is here option C, a complete physical, mental and social well-being. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 7. Which immune cell is responsible for antibody production? So dear student, so here they are asking which immune cell is responsible for the antibody production. So antibody is a immunoglobulin. Okay, it's an immunoglobulin that act that fight against the fight against the infections, okay, or antigen, okay, or foreign antigen molecule. So here which cells? Helper T cells. So here these are what? These are not uh, actually responsible for antibody production. Even natural killers are also not a what antibody production. So even not a macrophages. So here there is a plasma cell. So which is you know that the blood will be containing 55% of the plasma, right? And that plasma will be containing WBC cells. Okay, and this WBC will be containing what? This These are responsible for releasing what antibody. Okay, so that's why plasma cells are responsible for antibody production. Okay, so the correct answer is here, dear students. Which one? Option B, that is plasma cells are responsible for antibody production. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 8. Which mosquito transmits filariasis? Okay. So dear students, so in the image you can observe that the mosquito is there. So which is what this is what mosquito's life cycle. Okay. So, and here they are asking which mosquito. So, in this chapter, you are going to study the disease, and here the vector, the mosquito will be vector for the two disease. One is for malaria, and another is for filariasis. It is also called elephantiasis. Okay, so here malaria is caused by the female Anopheles Anopheles mosquito. Okay, so Anopheles is not correct here, right? So AIDS is also not correct. Even Mansonia is also not correct. Filaria or elephantiasis is transmitted by the Culex mosquito. Okay, so the here whatever the image you are observing, that is the Culex mosquito. So these mosquitoes are responsible for transmitting the filariasis disease. Okay, so the correct answer is option C, that is what a Culex mosquito is is transmitting the filariasis disease. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 9. Fever that recurs at regular intervals is hallmark of. So here dear student, they are asking the fever which recurs at a regular interval. That means here the fever comes and disappears within the 2 hours. Okay, so like that, that what is the this symptoms is a characteristic feature of, okay, what they are asking. So here, so the recurring fever or the fever comes and again within 2 hours it disappears, again it comes and again it disappears. So that is uh, called a recurring fever, and here that also causes the chilled fever. Chill will be there, and because of that, it also causes the headache. Okay, so that is in case of pneumonia, not in case of amoebiasis. Amoebiasis is a dysentery, even sorry, that is pneumonia is also here. It is what a infection causing to the lungs here, not pneumonia, not amoebiasis, and not even tuberculosis. Okay, so here the correct answer is malaria. So caused by the female Anopheles mosquito. So here actually this fever symptoms will be the fever that recurs at regular interval. Okay, and it will be having chilled fever and even headache will be there. So the correct answer will be, dear students, option C, that is malaria is a characteristic. This what fever, the recurring fever will be characteristic feature of malaria. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 10. Which immunoglobulin is mainly involved in allergic reactions? So dear students, in the image you can observe here, okay? So these are what? The mast cells, okay? So the mast cells present on the skin, okay? And here if you observe the cells which are secreting the granules which is called histamine and prostaglandin, it also secretes. And when the allergies, okay, allergies are nothing but allergy means the exaggerated reaction of the cells, okay, immunity, so that is called what? Allergy. So when this allergy antigen attacks our body, okay, so this mast cells will be containing the receptors, right? So here the immunoglobulin will be released from the plasma cells. So that is what? Antibody. So this immunoglobulin binds directly to the what? IgE. So that is going to bind this antigen, okay, and then here due to that it releases this what? Histamine, okay. So due to that it creates a red rashes, there will be a lot of itching also, okay. So that is what we called allergic reaction, okay. So this is mainly due to the involving immunoglobulin, that is called IgE. So during the allergic reaction, which antibody molecule immunoglobulin is going to release is IgE antibody. Okay. So the correct answer is here option B, that is IgE immunoglobulin. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 11. Entamoeba histolytica affects which organ? So dear student, so here the Entamoeba histolytica, which is called an endoparasite. Okay, so it is called an endoparasite. What do you mean by endoparasite, dear student? Endo means what? Inside. So here it is going to affect, okay, and it is going to live inside the body of an organism. Body of an organism. Okay, and here it needs host body to complete its life cycle. So here this entamoeba histolytica, it is causing the disease called amoebiasis. Amoebiasis. So it is like a dysentery only. So and here it is going to affect actually the part of the body that is a large intestine. Okay, so here it is affecting the large intestine. Okay, where exactly it is going to get multiply and all, and it causing the disease called amoebiasis. Okay, so the correct answer is here option C, that is large intestine. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 12. Histamine released from mast cells causes. So, dear students, already we have discussed about the allergic reaction, right? So, the allergic reaction is due to the immunoglobulin, that is what IgE, right? That is so here histamine releases. Okay, so that is released from the mast cell, right? So here the mast cell will be secreting the what histamine chemical. So that is going to get released when this what IgE immunoglobulin is what acting against the allergic reaction, right? So that time here it causes what? Due to the histamine release, it causes the red rashes and then what? The itching, itching, right? Itching of a skin. So that is called what? Allergic reaction. Okay, not even muscle contraction. Muscle contraction is a different topic only, not even antibody production. So antibody production will be there, okay, but that is not what due to the histamine release, due to the antibody reaction, it releases the histamine. And fever reduction, that is also not correct. So the correct answer is here option B, that is called what? The allergic symptoms. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 30. The disease that causes enlargement of limbs, elephantiasis is. Okay. So we have already discussed this also, right? So the elephantiasis also called as. So in the image itself, you can observe the one limb, the one leg is uh, proper here, proper in a shape. Okay, and another leg is very bigger in size, swollen because of the disease called what? Elephantiasis. That is caused from the Culex mosquito, right? So already we have discussed all these parts. And another name is for here this disease, that is called filariasis. Okay. So the correct answer is here, dear student. Which one? The option B, that is filariasis. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 14. The first line of defense includes. So dear students, so already we have discussed the innate immunity part in the first question itself, right? So what do you mean by innate immunity? Innate immunity, it's a immunity that is present at the time of birth itself, right? And it includes four barriers. That is what first one is physical, and then physiological, and then cellular, and then cytokines, right? So here the physical barrier and physiological barrier that act as a what? First line of defense. Physical and physiological, right? So physical barrier is example skin, dear student. So skin. So allergic reaction is the best example. When there will be allergy, so the skin, the mast cells of the skin that releases the histamine and that act against the allergy, right? So that is what the first what action against the infection. So that is through the physical barrier. Another one is physiological barrier. So here example we can take the mucous membrane. Okay. So the uh, whatever the dust particle is there, or whatever when we the mucous membrane which is present inside our what, the body. Okay, so that traps the dust and all. Okay, and it only allows the pure material inside the body. So that is also what a defense. Okay, so these two, physical and physiological, that comes under what, that includes skin and mucus. So these are against the infection. So that is considered as first line of defense. Okay. So not helper T cells, not even antibodies. Okay. Not even cytotoxic T cells. So the correct answer is the option C, that is skin and mucous membrane. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 15. HIV primarily destroys. So dear students, in the image, if you observe, it is very clear. Okay. So this is what HIV virus, that is called human immunodeficiency virus, right? So that is what full form of HIV, right? So this viral what genetic material is there inside the virus. So this is directly going to destroy. If you observe, this is the T cell. On the T cells, there will be a receptors, okay, and the co-receptors. Okay, so these receptors are called CD4. By destroying this receptor, it is going to kill this T cell. Okay, so that is what the HIV primarily uh, attacks on the T cells. Okay, so here, so it attacks directly on CD4 receptors of the T helper cells. So the correct answer is here option C, that is C, CD4 plus T helper cells. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 16. The fever in malaria is caused by the release of dash from ruptured RBC cells, right? So here, if you observe in the image, okay. So dear students, already we have discussed about the life cycle of female Anopheles mosquito, the Plasmodium vivax, right? So here life cycle of Plasmodium vivax we have already discussed that needs two hosts. One is mosquito and one is human being, right? So here after entering into the human liver cell, inside the liver cell it gets multiply and it becomes the merozoites and it is going to affect our RBC cells, right? So inside the RBC cells, okay, it burst out and it releases one toxic substance, toxic substance. So that toxic substance is called hemogen, hemogen. Okay, so this hemogen actually a reason for the recurring fever at a regular interval of a time and for a chill fever and for a headache. So this hemogen is what a reason. Okay, so that is actually causing that symptoms of malaria in the human being. That is what the toxic substance released from the RBC cell. So here the correct answer is option B, that is called hemogen. Not even lipase, it is an enzyme. IgM, that is an antibody, that is also not correct. Histamine, it is a chemical released during the allergic reaction. So the correct answer is hemogen. That gets released, ruptured, that gets released from the ruptured RBC in case of malarial fever. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 70. Which pair is correctly matched? So here there is a option, four options, right? So in that we need to choose the correct matching pair. Okay. So the first one, now just observe a rhinovirus pneumonia. Is that pneumonia is caused by the rhinovirus? Not correct. Streptococcus pneumonia. So that is what reason for causing the pneumonia. And then second one, third one, Salmonella typhi. Is that it is causing common cold? No. So the Salmonella typhi causing the fever that is called typhoid, right? And Haemophilus influenza, that is again pneumonia, infection to the lungs, infection to the lungs. Okay, not a typhoid. And the last B option, so Plasmodium falciparum, okay, that is causing the malignant malaria. Yes, the Plasmodium which is causing the malaria, right? So here this is the another species. So Plasmodium falciparum. So that is causing the malignant malaria. That means here it is very causing the very severe symptoms. It can lead to the death also. Okay, so that is what the correct answer. So the answer is option B, that is Plasmodium falciparum. falciparum, sorry, not falciparum, falciparum. So that is causing the malignant malaria. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 18th. Assertion. Innate immunity lacks memory. Reason. It acts against all pathogens in a non-specific manner. So dear students, so already we have studied about the innate immunity, right? What do you mean by innate immunity? Innate immunity is nothing but which is present at the time of birth, right? So because it is present at the time of birth, it is not actually causing or fighting against specific. It is not fighting against the specific what antigen. So here it act against all the pathogen. Okay. So whatever the pathogen which is harming, which is causing harm to the body. Okay. So it act against all those pathogens. It is not at all a specific. Okay. And it is not a particular antibody which is going to act against the particular antigen. So it is a non-specific manner and it doesn't have any what a memory. Okay, so it lacks the memory because it act against all the pathogen. Okay, so that it comes under first line of defense also. So the correct answer is here option A. So that is what A and R explains A. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 19. Identify the physical barrier of innate immunity. So dear student, if you observe here, okay, the physical barrier we have already discussed. The innate immunity is accomplished through the four barriers, that is a physical, physiological, right? So already we have discussed that physical, physiological, cellular, and the cytokines. Okay, so here the physical barrier that includes skin. Okay, so that act as the first line of defense. So the physical barrier of innate immunity, that is the skin. These all comes under interferons, macrophages, natural killer cell. These all are comes under the cellular barriers. So the physical barrier which is a skin. Okay. So the correct answer is here option C, that is skin is an physical barrier of the innate immunity. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 20. Which vector controls measure directly reduce mosquito breeding? Okay. So dear students, so in the image itself you conclude the can answer the question. Okay, so in the image, what you are seeing, dear student? So here in the image, there is a stagnant water, right? So if there is a stagnant water, okay, the breeding of mosquito will become more and more. Okay, so it get multiplied rapidly because of stagnant water, right? So this is one of the reason for what the mosquitoes population. Okay, the over mosquito population, that is due to the what, the stagnant water. If we clear the stagnant water, the mosquito population will become decrease. So that's why during the rainy season mosquito number will be become more. Okay, but in during what, during the what uh, uh, heat or during the summer, the less number of mosquitoes will be there because there will be no stagnant water. All will get dry due to the summer. So that's why during the summer mosquito number will be very less. Okay, so here the correct answer, not a oral vaccination, that is not related to this. Heat sterilization of utensil, not at all related to this. And wearing mask also not related to this. Okay, so the removing stagnant water, which will be a control measure, reduce the mosquito breeding. Okay, so the correct answer is here option C, that is removing stagnant water. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 21. A foreign molecule that triggers an immune response is called. So, dear student, if you observe properly here in the image, okay, so there is a image of antibody and the antigen. Okay, so let me give you a clarity. Antibody, that is a protein. Okay, that always recognizes and binds to the specific antigen. That means here it always act against, fight against the infection, fight against infection. Okay, so the antigen, that is the substance. Okay, so that is actually causing the infection. So that's why the antigen is considered as a foreign molecule. Okay, so the foreign molecule that trigger an immune response, so that is going to destroy our cell. So that is what the triggering immune response. So that's the what, the antigen. So the correct answer option is here, dear student. Which one? Not a immunogen, not even allergen, not even antibody. Antibody is what? The protein that fight against the antigen. So the correct answer is here option of A, that is antigen. Option A, antigen is an correct answer. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 22. The heavy and light chains of an antibody are linked by. So, dear student, here this is the structure of antibody. Whatever you are seeing in the image. Okay, so this is the structure of antibody. A general structure. Okay, so if you observe here, the antibody will be containing heavy chain. So this is called heavy chain. Okay, these are called what? Heavy chain. Okay, and here the variable arm, if you observe, these are called a light chain. Okay, so these are what? Light chain. Okay, so here the light chain and heavy chains in the antibody, those are connected by. If you observe here, there is a bond, right? So yes, yes. So it is an sulfide bond. So double S is there. So that's why here it is called disulfide bond. Disulfide bond. Okay, not even hydrogen, not even peptide. Okay, so peptide bond is present in proteins. Ionic bond, that is also not correct. Okay, so the correct answer is a disulfide bond that is present between the heavy and light chain. Okay, so the correct answer is here option C, that is disulfide bond. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 23. The pathogen that spreads through contaminated towel or shared clothing is. So dear student, so here sharing a cloth, okay, between two people. So that is not actually hygiene. That is not considered as hygiene because here the sharing, okay, the sharing that towels or any clothes, so that results in, okay, spread of the pathogen. So that is called here, these are called spores. Okay, so that is very uh, small in size, so that's why those are called a microsporum. Microsporum. Okay, so these are the what? The pathogen that spreads through the contaminated towel or shared cloth. Not even rhinovirus, Ucheriria, that is also not correct, even not plasmodia. So the correct answer is microsporum, that is the pathogen. So that spreads through the contaminated clothes or towel. Okay, so the correct answer is here option B, that is microsporum. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 24. A person receives a performed antibodies after a snake bite. This is an example of. So dear student, so you have studied about the immunity, right? So in immunity there are two types, innate immunity and acquired immunity. So innate immunity will be present at the innate immunity that is present at the time of birth, right? So acquired immunity will be that is acquired throughout the life. Okay. So again in this, okay, there is two types in acquired, that is what? Active and passive. Okay. So active immunity, that what maybe vaccine and all that comes under active immunity, that is already given to the person. Okay, the body of an organism, body of an person. Okay, and that act against whenever the pathogen attacks, that time it act against that infection or pathogen. Okay, so but the passive immunity, that is actually, this is the direct direct instant one, okay, that is a performed antibody. Okay, so that is given immediately. Okay, so immediately after infection, that is given immediately to the body of a person, and after that it act against that what? Infection. Okay, so the best example is snake bite. Okay, so here the person receives that antibodies after snake bite, so that is called what? The passive immunity, because after snake bite this performed antibody is injected to the body of the person. After that it act against the what? That antigen. Okay, so this is what comes under the passive immunity. So the correct answer is here option C, that is passive immunity. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 25. Which cell directly kills virus infected cells? So dear students, in the image if you observe, so the image whatever you are seeing here, so here this is the infected cell, right? So here it is containing the viral DNA, viral what? Infected DNA or what? RNA. Okay, so here what happens? Okay, so here there will be a receptor, right? So there will be a natural killer cells. Okay, so that comes under the innate immunity. So that is comes under the cellular barrier. Okay, so this is going to get attached to the what? Activating the receptors. Okay, and this antigen is going to get attached this, and here this is going to, this natural killer cell is going to kill the what? The infected cells. So this is what? So here how this natural killer cells directly kills the virus infected cells. Okay, so there will be a viral protein and the receptor which is present on the natural killer cell, that is going to get attached to that viral protein and it damages the cell. Okay, so this is how it is causing the death of the infected cell. So which cell is, dear student? So here the natural cell killer cells which comes under the cellular barriers, that is going to kill directly the virus infected cell. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 26. The primary lymphoid organ where T lymphocytes matured is. Okay, so dear students, so there is a two primary lymphoid organs which are those bone marrow and then a thymus. So these are primary lymphoid organs. Okay, the T helper cells, okay, which is going to produce in the bone marrow, and then this is going to get matured in the thymus. Okay, so the correct answer is here. So liver is not correct, even spleen, lymph node, all these are secondary lymphoid organs. These are secondary lymphoid organs. Okay, so the correct answer is here thymus. So here it is an primary lymphoid organ where the T lymphocytes are getting matured. So the correct answer is thymus. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 27. The test used to detect the HIV infection is. So here, dear student, in the image you can observe that. So here there is an antigen antibody reaction. Okay. So that is called enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Okay. So that technique is called ELISA. So this technique is used to diagnose or detect the HIV infection. Okay. ELISA enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Okay. So with the help of enzyme antigen antibody here it is going to detect it, okay, which is the HIV infection. So the correct answer is, dear student, option B, that is ELISA technique. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 28. Amoebiasis is transmitted through. So dear students, so already I've studied about the entamoeba histolytica in last question, right? So amoebiasis is the disease caused by the endoparasite called entamoeba histolytica. So while writing the what the pathogen names, you should follow all the biological rules also. So you should underline the first word should be in capital and second word in start with the small letter. Okay. So entamoeba histolytica is a pathogen which is causing the disease called amoebiasis. So here this is what transmitted to the contaminated food and water. Okay, not even insect bite, not even sexual contact. This is not a sexually transmitted disease, not even droplet infection. Okay, so that is in case of pneumonia and all. So here the correct answer is, dear student, option B, to the contaminated water and the food. Okay, so amoebiasis is transmitted. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 29. Which disease can cause internal bleeding and intestinal blockage? So dear students, so this is another disease, okay, that is caused by the round worm, okay, that is caused by the round worm, that is also called ascaris, okay. So here ascaris is causing the what? The disease called ascariasis, okay, ascariasis. This is what the disease caused by the what? Ascaris or roundworm. So here it is also an endoparasite. It is going to affect our the stomach, okay, as well as the small intestine. Here it is going to block the small intestine, okay, and due to that, it causing the internal bleeding due to the multiplication of this roundworm. It is causing it is blocking the intestinal blockage. It is causing the intestinal blockage and that causes the internal bleeding and intestinal blockage. Okay, so here, so the correct answer is here, dear student. Option B, that is ascariasis, is an what? The disease that is causing the intestinal blockage and internal bleeding. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 30. Identify the incorrect pairing. So dear student, just observe all the options. Okay. So here leukemia. So all these are what? Leukemia, sarcoma, carcinoma, lymphoma. All these are what? A type of cancer. A type of cancer. Okay. So here leukemia. So that is related to blood only. Yes, blood forming tissues these are. And then sarcoma, yes, it is related to the connective tissue. Okay, mesenchymal tissue here, sarcoma that is related to connective tissue. And then lymphoma, yes, that is related to the lymphatic tissue. Carcinoma, that is actually not related to the nervous tissue. It is related to the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissues. Okay, so here, so the incorrect pairing. So all these three pairs are correctly matching with the pair, and here the carcinoma that is not actually a pair of nervous tissue. Correct match is the epithelial tissue. So the correct answer is here option C, that is carcinoma, nervous tissue. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 31. Interleukins and cytokines are secreted by. So dear students, if you observe here in the image, so interleukins are secreted by the helper T cells, right? So in the image itself, you can say that it is released from the, it is getting released from the T helper cells, right? So here it is secreted by T helper cells and it acts as an a communicating agent. So when there will be a infection, so this T helper cells will give signal to the B cells, okay, to release the what? To release what? The antibody from the plasma cells. Okay, so this act as a communicating agent. So the interleukins and cytokines. Okay. So cytokines, interferons, and interleukins both are secreted by the T helper cells. So the correct answer is here option B, that is helper T cell. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 32. Which hormone like chemical triggers vasodilation during the inflammation? So, dear student, so here already you have studied the allergic reaction, right? So, during allergic reaction, the mast cell will be secreting, right? So, that will be secreting the chemicals called histamine and then prostaglandin. Okay, so this is also the what the chemical secreted by the mast cell. So here this histamine and this histamine is released when the due when the allergy happens. Okay, so and the here vasodilation due to the allergy and infection, what happens? There will be a widening of there will be a widening of blood vessels, right? There will be a widening of blood vessels. So this is called what? A vasodilation. Okay. So that is due to the release of what? Prostaglandins from the mast cells. So the correct answer is here, dear student, the option B, that is prostaglandins. Okay. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 33. A lung X-ray shows a patchy opacities due to fluid-filled alveoli, which disease is suspected. So, dear student, in the image you can observe that these are alveolar sac of the lungs, right? So these are alveolar sac. In case of normal alveoli, it looks like this. Okay, so there will be a no fluid filled. Okay, alveoli. So in case of pneumonia, what happens? The alveolar sac will be filled with the fluid. So that is because of what? The infection. Because of infection, the alveolar sac will be fluid filled. Okay, so that condition is called patchy opacities. Okay, so here, so this disease, in which disease this is the case? So the disease name is the option A, that is pneumonia. In case of pneumonia, the alveolar sac will be filled with the fluid. Okay, thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Planning Solution. Let's solve the question 34. Which activity does not belongs to public hygiene? So dear student, if you observe properly here, read all the options properly, then you can easily answer for this. Okay. So the water chlorination, so that is also related to the public hygiene. So they should not affect the public, right? So the water will be used by each and everyone. So water chlorination is necessary before using the water, right? So that is also related to the public health. And then proper sewage disposal. Yes, disposal of the sewage material, the toxic material, whatever the waste material, that is really necessarily required to maintain the public hygiene. So the second one is also ca- belongs to the public hygiene. And then food inspection. Yes, that is also. So whenever you are going to buy something food from the outside, so they they should maintain the hygiene. Okay, so that is also related to the public hygiene, right? Because they are selling it to the public, right? And then C, personal hand washing. Actually, this is not directly related to the public hygiene. So we can consider C as a correct answer. Okay. So the correct answer is here option C. The personal hand washing is not belong to the public hygiene. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 36. Which disease is spread by a mechanical vector, that is housefly? So, dear students, already you have studied the all these diseases, right? So, whatever the option here they have given, all about all the diseases, you have an idea now. Filariasis is caused by the Culex mosquito. Malaria caused by the Anopheles, and pneumonia caused by the Streptococcus. Okay, and here amoebiasis. So here this is caused by the contaminated water and food. So the vector will be here mechanical vector. So the meaning of mechanical vector is nothing but the mechanical is meaning here the vector is not going to affect it. Okay, so the vector is not affected, only it affects to the other person. Okay, so that's why it is called a mechanical vector. Okay, through the housefly. Okay, the housefly will be sit on the fecal matter and all. Okay, and then it comes and it also sit on the that what food and all. This is how the food will become the contaminated. So but the housefly will not get affected in this case. Okay, so that's why it is called a mechanical vector. So the correct answer, the amoebiasis is caused through the contaminated food and water. So it becomes contaminated because of this mechanical vector housefly. So the correct answer is here option B, that is amoebiasis. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 37. Which organ contains the largest mass of lymphoid tissues? So dear student, in the image itself you can observe that. So here it is containing many the lymphoid tissues. Okay. So that is a secondary lymphoid organ, that is nothing but a spleen. Even thymus, that is not containing a largest mass, and even Mars, that is also not correct. Even bone marrow is also not correct. The secondary lymphoid organ spleen is an correct answer. So the correct answer is option A, that is spleen. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 38. Identify the correct life cycle sequence in humans for Plasmodium. So, dear students, already we have discussed the life cycle of Plasmodium inside the mosquito as well as human, right? It needs two hosts to complete its life cycle. One is human and another one is mosquito, right? So, the life cycle what it starts from the where actually. So from the sporozoid, right? From the sporozoids, it is they are asking in case of human. In case of human only they are asking. So the sporo in which stage? The sporozoid stage, where the sporozoid stage it is going to affect, is going to inject it to the human being, and it is going to affect the liver cells, right? So that is what the sporozoite is first stage. So other three are not containing, other two are not containing. A option is also not containing sporozoite in first, B also not containing, but D is containing. So let me take both the options. Sporozoite. After sporozoite, it is going to affect the liver cells, right? In the liver cells, it will get multiply and become merozoites, right? So here the option C will be having liver stage. Option D will be having RBC. So this option is not correct, right? So the liver stage is correct. And then after getting multiply in the liver, then it is going to affect the RBC cells. Okay. So the correct option is here C. That is what in case of human sporozoid, liver stage, and then RBC stages. Okay. So the correct option, that is option C, porozoid, liver stages and RBC stages. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 39. Which fungal condition worsen in moist conditions? So dear students, the fungal condition they are asking. Okay. So already I studied that the only fungal disease, one fungal disease, that is what called ringworm disease, right? Already you have studied, right? So here this ringworm disease caused by the fungus, okay? So that requires, actually that requires moist condition and warm condition, okay? So due to that here, okay, so due to the moist condition, what becomes, this ringworm disease becomes severe, okay, and that becomes worsen, okay, worst. So the correct answer is here option C, that is ringworm disease caused by the fungus. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 40. A protozoan that multiplies in the liver before infecting RBC. So dear students, many times we have discussed about this same type of question, right? So here the protozoan that multiplies in the liver, right? And then that is going to affect the RBC cells. In which case it is? So in case of the malaria that is caused by the which protozoan? It is an protozoan that is called a Plasmodium vivax. Okay. So here, so the correct answer is, dear student, not an entamoeba that is causing the disease amoebiasis. Okay. And here not it is affecting RBC, it is affecting the intestine, small, large intestine. Ascariasis, it is also causing the infection to the intestine. Ucheraria is also not correct. So the correct answer is option C, that is a plasmodium. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 41. The immunoglobulin present in colostrum is. So dear students, already in the human reproduction, you have learnt about this, right? So colostrum, what do you mean by colostrum, dear student? So this is an yellow color milk produced from the mammals. Okay, okay. So this is yellow color milk. That is an initial days of milk. Initial days of milk after the childbirth. After childbirth. Okay, and this milk is really very important for the baby because it is containing the immunoglobulin antibody. So that is called IgE, IgA. Sorry, not IgE. That is in case of allergic reaction. IgA is a immunoglobulin that is transferred from mother to the fetus. Okay. So that is called what? That immunoglobulin is IgE, IgA. Okay. So the correct answer is here option A, IgA. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 42. Identify the pair where transmission does not match disease. They just observe all the pair here, dear students. 1 minute. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 42. Identify the pair where transmission does not match disease. So, dear student, just read all the option properly. Okay. First one, typhoid, that is contaminated food. Pneumonia, inhalation of droplets. Yes, typhoid is through the contaminated food only it is transmitted. Pneumonia, that is due to inhalation of droplets, right? And then ascariasis, yes, that is also through the unwashed contaminated food and water only. That is also correct. What is filariasis? Filariasis is not caused by the female Aedes mosquito, right? So it is caused by the Culex mosquito, right? So the match. So which is not a correct match here? The C. So the correct option is here option C. Filariasis, a female Aedes mosquito is a correct answer. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 43. Which drug is hallucinogen? So dear students, if you observe properly here in the image, okay, so hallucinogen is a drug, okay, so it is a drug, okay, that alters the perception and then thinking and then emotions and then feeling in the human being. Okay, if you take this hallucinogen. Okay, so that alters all the thinking ability of the man, and then what emotions and feeling. Okay, so that's why it is called hallucinogen. Okay, so that is because not an morphine, heroin, cocaine. Okay, so all these are a drug only, and some drugs are used in medication also, but here these all are not acting as a hallucinogen, but there is a drug that is called lysergic acid diethylamide, so that is called LSD, so that act as a hallucinogen. Okay, so the correct answer is here option D, that is a lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 44. Which immunological condition results from failure of self-recognition? So dear student, if you observe properly, so they are asking which immunological condition result from the failure of self-recognition. So this is one condition. See, if you observe in the image, so here there is a normal cells, right? So in the image, whatever you are seeing here, so this is the normal cells, right? So when the self antigen is attacking on the that comes near the normal cell, so unknowingly it is going to release the antibody, and then it start attack on the self. Okay, so that is what we call a autoimmunity. Okay, so autoimmunity is a condition where here it a result of failure of self recognition, it attacks on its own cell. Okay, so that is called autoimmunity, not even allergy, not even active, not even passive. Okay, all this meaning already you know. Active immunity, so that is already given like vaccine. Okay, that act, that fight against the infection. Passive, so after the what infection, a performed antibody is given, that is called passive. So allergy, that is a what uh, exaggerated reaction, right, of a skin or of an body, so that is also you have studied. So the autoimmunity is a what a result of from the failure of self recognition, so that's why these are going to kill their own cells. So the correct option is here option B, that is autoimmunity. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 45. The absence of which antibody class is most likely to increase vulnerability to parasitic worms? So dear students, so they are asking here what exactly? So which antibody molecule absence, okay, so will be affecting, okay, so affecting the what the body of an organism to increase in vulnerability to the parasitic worm. Okay, so here if you observe in this what image, so already have studied that the allergic reaction, right, and then the first line of defense, also the skin that act as the first line of defense, right? So here the in the allergic reaction, the antibody which are participating, that is IgE, right? So IgE antibodies are fighting against the infection, right? So if this antibody is what absent, okay, so here the first line of defense will be blocked, okay, so that becomes eosinophil activation. So that blocks the eosinophil activation, okay, and that becomes, okay, increase in vulnerability to the parasitic worm. So the correct answer is here the option B, that is IgE. Okay, thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 46. Assertion. Interferons are part of innate immunity. Reason. They are secreted by virus infected cells to protect other cells. So dear students, just observe the picture here. See the image. So here what they are asking, interferons are part of innate immunity. Yes, already we have discussed interferons comes under cytokines, right? So here this interferons, these are part of innate immunity only, that is correct. And they are secreted by virus infected cells. Yes, so these are secreted by the virus infected cells. So just observe the image here. Okay, so this is the virus infected cells in the image. Okay, so these are going to release this interferons. Okay, so to give the signal to the another cell which is not even affected. Okay, so the cell is not affected, not affected. Okay, so when it receives the interferons, okay, so the receptors will be receiving this interferons, and this produces antiviral protein against the infection, so that the antiviral protein inhibiting the viral replication, okay, so that this cell easily can escape from the infection. So this is what the naturally the interferons are involving in the defense mechanism. So both the assertion and reasons are correct here. So the correct answer option A, both A and R are true. R explains A. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 47. In the antibody molecule, antigen binding sites are formed by. So dear students, already you have studied the structure of antibody, right? So here if you observe properly, this is the structure of antibody that will be containing heavy and what? A light chain. So here in the variable reason, both heavy and light chain will be there. So this is the heavy chain, this is the light chain, right? So in the constant region you will get only heavy chains. Okay, so here, and these are connected by the disulfide bond, right? Disulfide bond, right? So in the in this structure, antigen binding site, where exactly the antigen is going to get bind with the antibody. So here, this region is called as antigen binding site, that is present in the variable region. Okay, so the correct answer is, dear student, which one? Only heavy chain, not at all correct. Only light chain, that is also not correct. In the constant region, that is also not correct. So where exactly? In the option C, that is variable region of both heavy and light chain. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 48. A child with a defective thymus is likely to lack. Today, students, you have studied that the bone marrow and the thymus, these two are what? The primary lymphoid organ, right? So here the T lymphocytes that is going to produce in the bone marrow and that is going to mature in the thymus, right? So the correct answer is here, which one? So if the thymus becomes defective, so which is going to affected? So the production of what? T lymphocytes will be there, but what happens? The maturation will be affected. So the defective thymus is likely to lack the T lymphocytes. Okay, so the correct option is option B, that is T lymphocytes. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 49. In malignant malaria, the severe symptoms mainly occur due to. So, dear students, what do you mean by malignant malaria? Malignant means what here? So, that is a severe. That means it causing the severe effect, okay, and it affects all the cells, okay, and which can lead to the death also. Okay, so here which of the symptoms mainly occur due to malignant malaria? In case of malaria, you have studied that it is going to affect first liver and then RBC cells, right? So here that is affecting RBC cells. So here liver failure, that is not correct here. So here in the liver it gets multiplied. Okay, and bacterial co-infection also not correct. Excessive sweating also not correct. So here it is blocking the cerebral part by infecting the RBC cell. Okay, so that is a correct answer. So the option B is correct. Cerebral blockage by infected RBCs. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 50. Which of the following is not a part of innate cellular immunity? So, dear students, so already we have discussed about the innate immunity, and that is accomplished through the four barriers, right? So, the physiological, and then physical, and then cellular, and then cytokinin, right? So, here they are asking which is not a part of cellular. Okay. So NK cell also comes under cellular, even macrophages, even neutrophils. Okay. See, these all are comes under what? The cellular barrier of the innate immunity. Only the plasma cells. So which is going to produce, which is having the WBC cells. Okay. So which is going to produce the antibody. So that is not a part of what actually innate cellular immunity. Okay. So the correct answer is here option D, that is plasma cells. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 51. AIDS patients often die from secondary infections because. So dear students, so in few minutes back, okay, so we have discussed about the HIV, right? So that is human immunodeficiency virus that is directly going to destroy the CD4 receptors of the helper T cells, right? Helper T cells. So here helper T cells, what actually they are fight against the infection. But here what happens? HIV is directly going to attack on this helper T cells only, right? So that's why here, so the due to the secondary infection, so the AIDS patient will die. Okay. So here that is directly going to attack the helper T cells. Because of that, what happens? The helper T cells decline drastically. Okay. So the correct option here, option B, helper T cells decline drastically. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 52. Read the data table and answer. This condition is most likely due to. So dear student, if you observe here, the condition is given. The WBC count will be normal, antibody level becomes low, and the inflammation will be severe. Okay. So that is in case of the acute bacterial infection. Okay. So acute bacterial infection, here it is a infection causing the severe symptoms that last for a few days to a week. Okay. So that is not, that is a temporary symptom. So that is called acute. In that case what happens? The inflammation will be severe, and that time the antibody level become very less. Okay. So that is the correct option is here option D, the acute bacterial infection. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 53. Introduction of larvivorous fish in a ponds breaks disease transmission by. So, dear student, so if you observe in the image, so these are larvivorous fishes which looks like a larva, and here these are feeding on the mosquitoes, right? So here these are going to feed on the larvae of the mosquitoes. Okay, larvae of mosquitoes. Okay, so that's how it is. What controlling the population of what a mosquito. Okay, so that's why wherever there will be a pond or whatever the stagnant water will be there, there there should be a larvivorous fish. Okay, so in ponds and all, so they are going to what introduce this larvivorous fish, so that the mosquito population breeding will be controlled. Okay, so here that's are involving in the killing mosquito larvae. Okay, so the correct answer is here option B, that is killing mosquito larvae, okay, by feeding on them. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 54. A recombinant vaccine produced using yeast is available for. So dear students, in the image you can observe that so there is one a disease which is called a sexually transmitted disease, STDs. Okay, so here if you observe, that is called a hepatitis B. Okay, so if you observe here in the image, from the hepatitis B the viral genome is taken out and it is inserted in the yeast DNA. Okay, and that's viral protein will be modified in the yeast. Okay, and here that is going to ground in the large amount. Okay, that is, and then that undergoes the purification, and that protein is given as a vaccine to the hepatitis B. Okay, so this vaccine is containing this viral genome. Okay, viral genome that will be inactivated, okay, inside the vaccine. Okay, so this is what the recombinant vaccine produced using the yeast, that is for what the disease called hepatitis B. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 55. Match the immune response. So dear student, if you observe here properly, there are two columns. Okay, so here there is a immune response in the one column, another one, that is what the mechanism they have given. So first one is called neutralization. So neutralization is a mechanism where the antibodies are going to block the toxin receptors. Okay, so these are going to block what toxin receptors. So the correct option is here for the option 1. Okay, P, that is a option 2. Okay, so two options will be having, first one option 2 will consider both, and then second one Q, that is opsonization. Okay, opsonization is also a mechanism. Okay, so it is a mechanism of coating the microbes or pathogens. Okay, with the help with the molecule that is called opsonin. Opsonin is a molecule. With the help of this, the what dead organism or the pathogen that is going to be covered, so that will become very easy for identification for the phagocytosis. Okay, so that is what the opsonization mechanism. So the coating microbes for a phagocytosis is correct answer. So the q is option 1. So the d option is 3, that is not correct. So the q option 1 is correct. And the agglutination, so that is nothing but the pairing with the antigens. So the it forms the clumping antigens. So the correct answer is R, that is option 3 only. Okay, so the correct option is here option B, option A, that is P2 Q1 R3. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sankal Planning Solution. Let's solve the question 56. Which factor initiates the inflammatory response at an injury site? So already we have studied that in the allergic reaction. Okay. So there will be a mast cell. So that will be secreting the chemicals that is called histamine and the prostaglandin. Okay. So these are initiating the inflammatory responses. Okay. So that causes an allergic reaction. So the correct answer is here, dear student, the option A, histamine and prostaglandin, not an antibodies, not an complement protein, not an interferon. Okay, so the chemical which is secreted by the mast cell, those are histamine and prostaglandin, are initiating the inflammatory response at a injury site. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 57. Cancer therapy using interferons belongs to. So, dear students, interferon belongs to which kind of immunity? So, it which type it is? Which it comes under the immunity, right? Immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin. Okay. So, interferons are comes under innate immunity. Innate immunity, right? And that is that is a cellular barrier, right? Sorry, not cytokine barrier. This is cytokine barrier, right? Interferon. Okay, so here, so it is related to the immunology, right? So that's why this is referred as immunotherapy, not an radiation, not an chemotherapy, not an hormone therapy. So it is related to the immunology. So it is an immunoglobulin. So that's why it is called a immunotherapy. So the correct answer is option C, that is immunotherapy. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 58. A rise in IgE level accompanied by the smooth muscle contraction and mucus secretion are typical of. Okay. So rise in IgE. When the IgE immunoglobulin get releases from the mast cells, uh, see, not mast cell, from the plasma cells. So these are immunoglobulin, that is called antibody, right? Antibody are getting released from the plasma cells, right? So these plasma cells will be releasing IgE when it is releasing. So it is released due to the allergic reaction. When there will be allergy, okay, the when it enters the body through the breathing or it may be exposure, okay, so what happens, the plasma cells will be releasing the antibody, that is called IgE, and that is going to attach to the mast cell, and mast cells are releasing the histamine and prostaglandin, that is actually causing the allergic reaction, right? So the correct answer is here, that is not a passive viral infection or autoimmune disorder. So the correct answer, that is called allergic reaction. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 59, which helps in distinguish carcinoma from sarcoma. Okay, so these are two types of what cancer, right? So carcinoma, it is related to the epithelial tissue, and sarcoma, that is related to the mesenchyma tissue. Okay, so based on what, not a rate of division, even not a metastatic ability, okay, and even not a presence of oncogen. So here, the because of tissues origin, where exactly it is causing the cancer, to which tissues, from that we can conclude that whether it is carcinoma or sarcoma. Okay, so the correct option is here option B, that is tissue of origin. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to Sankalp Learning Solution. Let's solve the question 60. A person develops a disease after initial exposure but shows strong immunity on re exposure. This best describes. So, dear student, just read the sentence properly. The person develops disease, okay, during the initial exposure, okay. So here during the initial exposure there will be no much what the action against that what disease, because it was a first time for the body. Okay. So but it shows a strong immunity on re-exposure. Okay, when the second time the body of an organism gets affected by the same disease. Okay, so here it is showing some strong response against that infection. So that is because here the what acquired immunity, because it has already memory and it is stored and it is acquired, so that this time it can show the very strong response against that same disease, same infection. Okay, so the correct answer is here option C, acquired immunity with a memory. Thank you. So, dear students, now in this chapter, we have completed all 60 questions. Okay, so now we are almost at the end of the chapter. So, let's discuss about the summary of today's class. So, in this session, we have discussed questions on the health, common disease in the human being, right? So many common diseases we have discussed, and even also we have discussed the infectious and non-infectious disease, and we have discussed what are the pathogens and the different types of disease caused by the pathogens, that is typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, and malaria. And we also discussed the different stages, life cycle stages of the Plasmodium vivax, and we also discussed the disease Ascariasis, elephantiasis, that is also called as filariasis, and we also discussed the fungal disease that is called ringworm, right? And we also discussed about the immunity and the types of immunity, and we also discussed the structure of an antibody molecule, and we also discussed some questions on active and passive immunity, right? And we also discussed vaccination and immunization, allergies and meaning of the autoimmunity, and then drugs. Okay, so this completes what the whole topic of the human health and disease. So thank you.